Welcome to another episode of Rough Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Rough Talk VR. Today we're mixing it up a little bit. Usually we talk games, recent VR news, that type of stuff, but every once in a while we do dabble in some other sides of the industry, like healthcare, healthcare applications, stuff like that. I think this is the first time we're going deep into Horizon Worlds, so I'm excited for this.
But something in it that's actually like pretty dear to my heart.
Yes.
It's dear to your heart.
Yeah,
So that's what makes it kind of special on our end.
We're both very big stand-up comedy fans, and today we're joined with Aaron Sorrels. He's the creator, owner, I'm not sure the word I should use for that, the founder of the Soapstone Comedy Club in Horizon Worlds. So, I mean, when you talk about applications for virtual environments like World, like, is there a comedy club might be one of the best one.
Makes total sense.
People are nervous. They've never gone on stage before. Gives them an opportunity to go and try it out without having that.
Or maybe
visual.
you're famous and you just want to go for some in it.
Maybe that's something we can get into a little bit with Aaron too.
Let's
but
find this out.
Before I go too crazy about, your comedy club, your virtual comedy club, Aaron, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are and what exactly you do over with Soapstone Comedy Club?
Yeah, certainly. And thank you guys for having me on. This is a privilege and an honor to be hanging out with you guys. So thank you. It's fun to reach out and talk to new folks. So yeah, so you had touched on like what do I do with the Soapstone and in Horizon Worlds? Yeah, I've got the weird title of world creator of the Soapstone Comedy Club. And with that, I've got a whole team of people that I work with to bring comedy into virtual reality and make it accessible. You touched on, Brian, you touched on two groups of people that can benefit from what we're doing. The amateur or the person that would aspire to be a comedian and the professional comedian, both. The aspiring comedian can come in and find an audience and have a relatively low risk opportunity to get on stage and tell some jokes and do some things. And the professional comedians actually can come in and earn some money for doing shows, and then also can even come in under an alias or something and do some comedy work anonymously and get some feedback that might not be tied to their name. So.
I love that. The reason it went in my head is, like comedians will play smaller clubs and in weird locations that you'd never think they'd pop up. So it would make total sense from a professional standpoint that like, wait a minute, I can actually go in and not have, I'll call them the fake laughs, because everyone laughs if you're at a certain level, whether you're funny or not, and really try to like work on, certain material or routines. So I think I love the concept.
Without putting anyone on the spot, you don't need to name names, but has this happened? Has a notable comedian gone in anonymously?
Murphy,
Yeah, just,
Yeah, well, in the, as a recovering alcoholic, I consider anonymity pretty important. So I won't out anybody, but but we certainly have had some big names come through, both in scheduled shows and people that have just popped in to check it out.
That's awesome.
And that's one of the excitements of going to your local club too, is never knowing who might walk through the door.
Any comedy show I go to, I just saw Joe List last week, and the excitement for me is always, you're excited to see who the headliner is, but the opening act's never advertised. Like, you don't know who's going to be there. Is oftentimes they steal the show a lot of the times too. So yeah, the mystery is a lot of the fun. But you threw out a nice little tidbit there about yourself, Aaron. I guess before we go too deep into the Soapstone Comedy Club, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and how this led to a VR comedy club?
Sure. Yeah. The rather ambitious title of world creator, that's offset a little bit by my moniker, what I'm known by both in the comedy world and in virtual reality, which is the unemployed alcoholic. And, that's again, the flip side of that, where a lot of people hear that and they're like, what? But yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and that led to this season of unemployment that I went through. And from that, I discovered comedy, and then from comedy, ultimately discovered the metaverse and this incredible adventure of watching a community of people coming together to help each other laugh and support each other. It's cool.
I love your openness to take your personal, I'll say personal struggle, and turn it into something of a comedic value. That's pretty huge.
You know, it's so interesting because, you know, when I first started calling myself the unemployed alcoholic, I had a friend that told me, you can't do that. You're never going to have a grown-up job again in your life. And I thought, you know what? Good. I'm sick of those anyway. But there's that. And then I took that moniker on for two reasons. One, it's kind of funny. But then also it takes a little bit of the stigma away from those two words. Unemployment and alcoholism both can kind of make people shriek back a little bit and that, but it's good to be doing something successful and be doing something that is positive under the moniker of the unemployed alcoholic.
Well, and you referenced AA earlier. I'll take it that both you are no longer unemployed due to the Soapstone Comedy Club, and that you are no longer an alcoholic. Are both those statements true?
Yeah. I wear the name tag in VR that says unemployed alcoholic, and people are like, really? And I'm like, well, it's a little bit too long to say the relatively well compensated, very busy, recovering alcoholic who's 8 years sober. That just doesn't fit on the name tag. So
the artist formerly known as, you know,
there you go.
It's always a good one to go with.
Well, 8 years deserves a huge congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Just for anyone listening, that's huge.
And how long were you doing stand-up before you decided to look at VR avenues?
Yeah, so I left a good grown-up job. I was a marketing guy for a manufacturing company, and to address alcoholism. And then about a year after that, I got on stage to do stand-up for the first time, and that was a lot of fun. It fortunately, my first time performing went relatively well, because the 200 times after that were a little rough. No pun intended with your last name, but you know, that kind of set the tone. And then I did comedy for a while, turned the corner from doing comedy on an amateur level to actually doing it professionally and earning a little bit of money doing it. And then the pandemic hit and made it illegal to do what I kind of was loving. So I had to figure out a new way to help people laugh. I had to figure out a new way to add value to the people around. And I found that in the metaverse, found that virtual reality.
The amount of VR stuff that has come out because of the pandemic has been the amount of, I mean, look at Mighty Coconut, you know, it's like I just think it's awesome. You were really the first one to say, hey, this is needed and there's an avenue it can happen. And how's the perception been? I'm going to assume very good.
Yeah, it's been quite the adventure, and there are loads of virtual reality comedy clubs out there. I wasn't the first, but I was in the right place at the right time, where what was happening in the Soapstone caught Meta's attention in their platform Horizon Worlds, and we got an opportunity to collaborate on some things and bring some big name talent into the club, and at the same time and probably more importantly, build this community of people that are making the stage their own and really able to express themselves through producing shows, performing at shows, hosting, all of these things that you would think would be kind of background stuff, but really it's the headline.
Makes sense. And I was actually going to shout out that, yeah, I've been seeing these kind of stand-up groups. I remember they were going on in alt space around the time we first started the podcast, and then Failed to Render was making some noise for a bit. It seems like it's quieted out a bit for whatever reason, but it really feels like Soapstone's the one that's been able to
it out
really, and beyond that, get, you know, name comedians and stuff like that. I know that is something Failed to Render was doing for a bit, but I really see Soapstone Comedy Club as the sort of premier one being pushed a lot right now.
Yeah.
So congrats
Kyle
there.
Renner,
That's not an easy title to take.
thanks. Yeah, Kyle Renner has done some pretty cool stuff with Failed to Render. And he's still doing his thing. Everybody's still laughing with him and that. But yeah, kind of two different approaches to comedy and to what we're trying to accomplish. But he's doing his thing and being very successful with it, and we're doing our thing. Okay, Failed to Render was actually the first virtual reality comedy club that I stepped foot in, the virtual foot in. And it was interesting to see, like, okay, yeah, this can work. This is kind of cool.
Well, it's like comedy clubs in real life. Every comedy club has its own vibe, its own crowd, its own style of comedy it gravitates towards. So I think that it's symbolic of a healthy comedic ecosystem in VR, the fact that there is multiple successful comedy clubs.
I totally agree with you. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but Failed to Render, the Firehouse Comedy Club in virtual reality, and Meta Horizon, and loads others. If there's a way that we can help each other grow our own audiences, it's going to help everybody overall. So
When you can't really have too much comedy, right?
No, that's how,
exactly.
That's how comedy is in real life too. It's like everyone, it does the best when people are collaborative. They help each other. They amplify each other. So it's cool to see that, like, 1-to-1 between real life and VR with this. But
indeed,
how do you go from, all right, I'm making a VR world, and we'll get into how you even learn to create and all that stuff, because I know world creating is its own skill. But, I'm thinking to getting real acts and stuff. What's that conversation like? You approach a real comedian and say, hey, well, real comedian is the wrong word. You approach a big name comedian and say, hey, put on a VR headset and check out this VR thing I'm doing.
That's a great question. And a lot of times people will approach somebody that they want to collaborate with the mindset of, what can I get from you? So you talk about a big name comedian, somebody typically might approach them and be like, okay, this is what I want from you. And I take a different approach with all my collaborations and look at it from the perspective of, what can I give to you? So if there's a comedian, and I don't think I can give more than what I'm asking, then frankly, that's not the right fit for a collaboration. I want to work with comedians that I can deliver at least as much value as they're delivering to me and our audience. So what I would encourage somebody, if they're thinking, okay, I've got a comedy club and I want to collaborate with Jerry Seinfeld, really, really think about what value you're going to deliver to them. And if that strikes you as an attractive option, then that might be a good collaboration. If not, then that's probably not the comedian that you want to be collaborating with.
I think that's a good mentality for collaborating in general, beyond just a VR comedy club. You think like IP collaborations between companies. It's usually scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's not this, what can I exploit out of you to...
What can I squeeze?
Yes, how can I increase my name off of you? That's never the best partnership.
Well, it becomes pretty obvious that's what's going on, too.
Mm-hmm.
I got to ask, like, so, like, if you're, like, okay, I want to go do stand-up, and I can go to your comedy club, do I fill out... Walk me through the process. Like, what do I do?
There's a bunch of ways that it happens. Sometimes it's completely accidental. Somebody might come in and say, Soapstone Comedy Club, and just go there, and the environment is set up and such where it's very easy to see that if there's an audience of people there, there's a sign up on the wall, and you go hit the button, and then a pop-up you'll see a pop-up that says it's your time to shine, and then you get 3 minutes on stage to do your thing. And a lot of times people will come in and just like stumble onto the stage, and sometimes both literally and but people will end up on stage and they'll perform, not even planning to do so. So that's a really fun thing. And then as people discover like the true desire to do it and take it to the next level, we've got a Discord channel. It's discord.gg/soapstone. And there is where all of the logistics of truly operating the club happen. And people can come there and actually sign up to come in for a spot. On Monday nights, we do $1,000 spotlight comedy auditions where people can sign up for a spot, come in and compete to advance to the final round. And then from the finals, I'll select somebody that will get $1,000 gig to come into one of our big shows and do a 5-minute spot.
That's
Damn.
freaking cool.
That's better than you're gonna. $1,000 is better you're gonna get at any local club, dude. As a new comedian, that's not even funny.
And 3 minutes is a fair amount of time. That's like open mic.
I'll tell you what, though, 3 minutes is a long time if you don't have your.
It can be the longest 3 minutes in the world. That's for sure.
Well, I went skydiving one time, and it was a 3-minute process, and I do remember being on stage for a 3-minute open mic and saying, which one is more intense?
I would say the stage.
I come from a background of Brazilian jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and like in high school, a wrestling match is 6 minutes. You go, oh man, in comparison to any other sport, 6 minutes is nothing. Like a basketball game is how long? That's going to be the hardest 6 minutes, the longest 6 minutes of your life. So
no one is trying to kill you for 6 minutes playing basketball.
100%. So on a random Tuesday, you can hop in, or a random Monday, go in, press the button to sign up, and do some, sort of open mic. Go in, you get your 3 minutes. How about when there's a show going on? Is there kind of like two different clubs? Is there like a public one and then one that you buy tickets for? How does that work?
Yeah, so there actually is two different clubs, but it's not like invite only versus public. What it is Soapstone at Hanalei Bay has kind of a tropical vibe. It's based off the island of Kauai, the North Shore there. There's a little bay called Hanalei Bay. And that was kind of the setting that we built this. And it's, again, it like kind of the tagline for it is hang loose, laugh out loud. There's a pineapple that greets you at the door, and just like any other comedy club. But that one is designed for people ages 10 and up. So that's kind of an all ages experience. And then we've got Soapstone NYC, which is based actually in Brooklyn, overlooking the East River there, towards the Manhattan skyline, and you see the Brooklyn Bridge there and all that. And of course, New York is the heartbeat of comedy, and that's a little bit grittier place. It's still clean comedy. We still don't want people getting hurt and attacking each other, but it's targeted for ages 18 and up.
So is it generally all like clean comedy?
So,
or can you cuss? Is there nights that are looser, so to say?
There's the question. There's the question of the hour. Can you cuss? No. So like there's a dynamic where when people put a headset on that sometimes it can get hurtful, and that's the key thing that we want to avoid. So where we draw the line with clean comedy is we don't want any racist or homophobic or otherwise derogatory attacking material. And we don't want anything that's graphically sexual. We don't want. There's a chuckle for you. Yeah.
I can just picture the Avatar animations already.
Yeah, they're right. Yeah, and there's places for that. There's places you can go and be racist if you want. There's places you can go and be sexual harassing if you want. But it's not the Soapstone.
Isn't that Reddit?
So the line, so the line is kind of those, more personal attack type things. But if somebody comes in there and they drop off,
fair.
Yeah,
I mean that's fair, because if your comedy is, if that's your style and that's all you got,
you should probably go on stage in real life then, buddy.
Go somewhere. Yeah.
But
which
like
there's plenty of people that do.
Yep.
But you can go in if you slip out in NYC. Obviously, the ages 10 and above is a different story. But you slip out a hard F or something in the NYC, you're not going to get booted out. There's not going to be like bouncers on the stage that come in and
big hook,
lift your avatar up. And
well, we do have a huge community of people that help us moderate. And of course, anytime you're empowering people to help moderate, there will be a pendulum that swings, and somebody might think something's bad when somebody else might not. So you got to have a little bit of a grace to realize, okay, sometimes I might have thought something was okay and somebody else didn't, and I got removed. So there's that aspect of it. But in general, again, it's pretty straightforward. If you're talking vulgar profanity, if you're cussing about sex, my blah blah blah, your blah blah blah, we're gonna do this blah 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 with your blah blah. Like like that's pretty much the line. But yeah, if somebody says shit or damn, or if something slips out like that, that's not a removable offense, if you will.
That makes
Fair.
sense.
No,
That makes
that's
sense. And the reality is, cussing in comedy is kind of strategic. Like, you don't want to overdo
Yeah.
it. Anyway, it devalues the humor.
Tell it to Dice.
So a well-timed
Yeah.
one
He had a good career at it.
can amplify it for sure.
Well, and what I really look for in the Soapstone as far as talent goes is I want to find funny people that can work clean. I don't lead with clean, because there's a lot of clean comedians that just aren't funny, and they're less welcome than a dirty comedian that's funny. But we've had a lot of professional comedians that are very, very funny that can come in and work clean. I mean, Jay Farrow came and did a set the other day, and his on stage stuff is pretty graphic, and he crushed it. He came in and did great. Natasha Leggero, she performed, and I'll tell you what, like I became familiar with her roast stuff that she did with Comedy Central, and it's hilarious. And not a bit of it could be said on the Soapstone stage. but she came in and she crushed it, and she worked clean. So what I find is the professionals can be funny and are funny, but also can keep it within not hurting people, clean lines.
That makes sense. And I guess just to give you the opportunity to, not everybody likes to name drop, so I'll ask you to do it. Do you want to name drop a little bit some of the bigger names that have come through the Soapstone Comedy
Sure.
Club?
Well, those were a couple. I snuck in the name drop anyway, but
The casual era.
Yeah. Pete Holmes came through a little while ago. He, of course, did HBO's Crashing show, and boy, I think he's got 7 comedy specials out there now. He's one of my personal favorites. Just recently, Gianmarco Ceresi came through. He's a New York based comic, and he crushed it. Actually, that his special hasn't even aired yet. It's coming up. So yeah, we've had a lot of really, really great people. We've got a live recording coming up next month with Emma Willman. And oh my gosh, she is so funny. But we've got a steady stream of everywhere from celebrity level, very famous comedians, to people that literally just came in and thought, you know what, I can do comedy. So we've got the whole range.
What's an average turnout?
So there's a capacity as far as how many people can be in one place at one time. So the way that we kind of get around that is twofold. One, our community shows, the shows that we have on a regular basis that are like the live experiences. The people that host those are constantly on the lookout for people that can host second, third, fifth, seventh instances of that experience. So basically, people can come in and we'll help set them up to where they can host their own experience. And then also with the comedians that we bring in for the Soapstone Presents series, which are the bigger name comedians, we will video record those performances, and then we'll play them back at a later point in the world itself.
Okay. But you can still, if you're one of the people in the capacity, you can still go to the big name show, quote unquote, in person.
Well, so the people that get the opportunity to go see the live recordings, that opportunity comes from our Discord channel. So people that join our Discord channel, there'll be we'll post it in the announcements that you can sign up to be live in the audience when Emma comes through, and then they'll sign up for that and get that spot. And we don't charge for any of that, because it's kind of a reward for the people that are part of our community. But our community is open to anybody who wants to be a part of it. So all of that stuff is available at discord.gg/soapstone. And I do have to say, those are fun shows. And if you do come and attend that, we have 8 cameras that are recording those, and then we'll edit it into the final. So we're recording the audience as well. So a lot of times people will come to the live recording and then see the playback and be like, "That's me."
Legit, like a
that's
comedy
my
special.
avatar. So without a concrete number, but I mean, if I were coming to perform, would I expect an audience of over like 75, 100? I'm just trying to gauge like club size.
So, when the professional comedians come in, I tell them that the audience size, you typically you'd expect about 20. And that seems like a low number, but you guys have both been in virtual reality enough to know that to have 20 people right there close to you, that you can hear them talk and laugh and they can hear you talk and laugh. That feels like a very full room.
Okay. That makes sense.
Makes total sense.
And maybe even 100 avatars in one space would be.
What about
claustrophobic.
hecklers? How do you deal with hecklers?
So that's we've never had a heckler come through the Soapstone. That's
not
weird.
yet.
Yeah, no.
You've yet to meet this guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Right,
Oh,
right.
I'm coming. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I would not do that to a comedian.
Yeah. So the professional comedians that we have come in, of course, that audience is made up of the people that are contributors at the Soapstone. So they all are, they've won the lottery to be there. So they're very happy to be there and they're not going to disrupt it. An open mic scenario, that's a little different. The people in the audience, you never know what's going to come out there. So there's hecklers, but we have things that I wish you could have in real life, where there's a force field around the stage. So if you're on stage doing your thing, people can't jump up there with you, and there are moderators. So if somebody's being very disruptive, they can be removed, just like a real club, except for they just vanish, which would be real nice in a real club.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. So yeah, heckling, if you come into an open mic situation, it's and you're not tight and right, then you're probably going to hear about it.
Well, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Go to an open mic and suck, and you're going to get booed. And you're gonna undoubtedly know you sucked that night.
I love how 1-to-1 it is with real life. And
no, dude, I just love that you can put a headset on and go like disappear and just like be in a club and laugh. That laughter's
that's a cool
huge.
concept.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned that you don't charge
The
for
liability. Come on.
you don't charge for the ability to reserve a spot or claim one of the live spots through the Discord, but do I understand correctly that the entire, like, you get a big comedian, it's a free event for everyone to watch?
That's right. Yeah. It's, we're in the early days of virtual reality. A lot of the stuff we're concept testing and that. So it's not about charging for that experience. It's about developing that experience. So right now happens to be a time where people can come in and be a part of what's going on for free. There are, like, we have in-world purchases, like people can come in and buy t-shirts and things like that. We have applause credits, so people can come in and earn applause credits or buy applause credits. So when their buddy's on stage, they can advance them through the ranks by applauding them and all this stuff. So there's some things that we've gamified and incorporated in-world purchases to where people can contribute financially if they choose to, but there's not a door charge or anything like that to get in.
Wow. You know what I love the most out of this? Because I really went into this interview blind.
Mm-hmm.
If someone can't figure out that this is not a money grab, this is like someone who's got a true passion for the art of comedy, and wants to give people a good avenue and a good venue to perform. No matter where you live in the world, you can have a chance in front of. Dude, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. To be honest, with you. Like just seeing it like unplaying in front of my face, I'm like, wow, this guy's like,
This could be the kickoff.
this isn't about the money. I mean, shit, he went into it as the unemployed alcoholic. You know, this is not. This is just something special that's happening, right? And like you said, this is so early on. We're at the amoeba stage of the industry, and who knows where this is going to freaking go.
Mm-hmm. And I know not everyone's a fan of the way Horizon Worlds are pushed on the home screen and stuff like that.
I am not.
But that's not a fault of the individual world creators or builders, or
it's not a reflection of them.
You guys have no control with where you're put on the meta store and presented to people. So sometimes people have this negative attitude towards Horizon Worlds because of that. But you shouldn't hold that negativity.
Well, that's what else made this really special too. Is like, here's an example of there is things there that you can gravitate to that aren't going to be
for adults. In some case, like the NYC club, it's like, the way the worlds are pushed isn't a reflection of the individual worlds, and you guys have no control over that. You know, it's like sometimes people get overly negative about Horizon Worlds because of the way it's pushed. But like, just trying to stress, as a listener or a fan of VR, like you shouldn't let that affect the way you feel about the individual world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, that means the world to me to hear that comes through as we're doing something genuine here. Because I mean, it was a year that I was going through a battle with alcoholism and going through the recovery process, and I was unemployed. Every door I knocked on closed, and it hurt. And to find an avenue where I'm able to add value and also earn money and find success and help people laugh, like that was so important to me. And it's so important to me that that's what translates to the people that come in and become part of this. You know, the $1,000 spotlight, the whole idea behind that is to create an on-ramp where somebody can come in and say, I want to take this comedy thing seriously and find that opportunity and find that success. You know, the shows, our marquee hosts that run the shows, the whole idea there is to give people the opportunity to express themselves, find success, and thrive through it. And as far as like Horizon Worlds, I know there has been there has been negative perception of those in several different ways, but I have to say that they have been such a great partner to work with through this. And it's not just me because of the Soapstone. They come in and they make the world creation process accessible to people. And so it's not just the big gaming studios that are coming in and making these experiences. You know, it's the average everyday Joe that's coming in and finding the opportunities to get on the home page, like you're talking about, to have their creation discovered and enjoyed by people. It's pretty wild. It's a wild journey.
Well, you're definitely a good success story for Horizon Worlds, and definitely a good app that you'd want to click on versus, you know, the reality, you click on some and
more kid orientated.
Yeah, you're gonna, you know, but that again, like you said, that's not the fault of the people who are providing these areas for people to go and enjoy. It's just, as the consumer, it's frustrating, you know, from a consumer standpoint. But
and you speak on accessibility of world creation. There's just a couple last things I wanted to ask before we wrap this baby up. How did you learn to create the world? Like, were you a programmer? I know you mentioned you did some marketing as a job before, but, you know, did you dabble in programming before? You know, how did you create the Soapstone Comedy Club?
So we actually touched on it earlier, but the key to all of it has been collaboration, and that approach to collaboration of finding ways that I can add value to people I collaborate with. So there's so much involved in building worlds, from the modeling of it to the scripting of it, to the community building of it, to the marketing of it. And in our case, to show production and talent acquisition. And there's so many dynamic aspects, the financial piece of it, all of these things. There's no way that there's any individual out there that could possibly do a good job at everything that's needed. So the way that we did it was to collaborate. We found people that we can add value to along the process and said, let's work together. And that's been lovely. Now, many of the people that we've worked with along the way have moved on and are doing other stuff, which is great. Several of them are still part of our core team that we work with on a daily basis. So collaboration is key.
Yes, like I know the world that you mentioned, the Bombay Island on the Kauai. That's I've seen a series of worlds from the Kauai group or people or whatnot. So I imagine you collaborated a little bit there, right?
So Kauai creators, by the way, a family that are some of the top creators in Meta Horizon. These folks are phenomenal, and we did collaborate with them. But ironically, it was way after Hanalei Bay came out. That was on the island of Kauai. So the unrelated to that whatsoever. In fact, early in their journey, I connected up with that family, and we had the opportunity to just meet and talk on a monthly basis about the process of being a creator and navigating through all the stuff that goes with that. And then when we did New York City, Soapstone NYC, we were able to bring them in as a collaborator, and they did the modeling aspect of that world design. So yes, we did get to work with them, but ironically, it wasn't really on Hanalei Bay on the island of Kauai. It was NYC.
That's funny. So I got one more big one, then I'll pass it to you if you have anything you want to ask while we still got Aaron here. But if I imagine to find Soapstone Comedy Club, it's as simple as go on the Meta, open up your headset, type in Soapstone Comedy Club, and you'll find it.
If it's not already there waiting for you.
Yeah, right on the homepage. But do you want to plug, socials, Discord community, all that stuff, how everyone can find and support you? And all the different platforms?
Certainly. And it's so amazing how Horizon Worlds has become much more accessible via mobile. So any of this stuff, you don't even need a headset. You can go to either Soapstone World or any of the worlds in Meta Horizon that on your mobile phone, which is really cool. It opens it up to a lot of new folks. Doing that, but soapstonecomedy.com, that's our website. And that's kind of the branch that's the base of the tree that branches out to all the different social platforms that we're on and all that. So.
Awesome. And we got Aaron. Anything else you want?
I'm excited to go.
Yeah, we got to go hop in now.
Nice. I'll meet you in there.
maybe not. We'll hit the stage.
Yeah,
3 minutes isn't bad.
We should go in the crowd first, and I was already thinking it. Maybe I think it'd be funny to do 3 minutes.
Drop in incognito. I think I got enough material saved for that. No, I wish you the best at what you're doing. I believe in what you're doing. I think the passion's legit. I think it's going to feel even better when a few years from now, if this hasn't happened already, where XYZ person, shy to the gills, broke their teeth on your stage that you created, giving that person the platform.
They might not have ever been able to get on stage if not for that, due to anxiety.
Dude, there's going to be a lot of nobodies to professionals because of being able to, again, cut your teeth here, work out the nerves that you're still going to feel in front of a live audience, but you're going to be able to work on your art, your craft. It's just, I don't know. I think it's awesome. And the fact that it's free and it's open to the world, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. It's hard to not rally behind that.
No. And I'm biased because I absolutely adore comedy more than anything.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I don't even really watch TV, like shows, that much anymore. It's just comedy shows on YouTube and stand-up specials and stuff.
Lots of documentaries.
A lot of stand-up for me. So thank you, Aaron. This was a really fun interview. We'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, I want to catch up. Keep us this, because I don't see this going anywhere. This has nowhere to go but up.
Mm-hmm. Right? Absolutely. And keep us posted on shows and stuff like that. You know, as a comedy fan, be happy to talk about a big one and check one out. And yeah, thank you for taking the time. Our listeners know we record on Sundays, so it's always like the most selfish day of the week to steal someone for an hour. But appreciate you joining us. And for the listeners, if you have a Quest headset, or if not, even on the phone, go check out go check out Soapstone Comedy Club.
I'm sold.
Yeah. So
Love it, guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you listeners. Talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And to the listeners, be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and check out Soapstone Comedy Club. All right. Ciao, ciao.